All right, guys. Welcome to this month's MSEM GP Decklist stream, and we have with us today, guys.
Hello.
Aeonketer.
Yeah.
And post cannon girl.
I think I might need to make you louder.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'll be here for some of it, at least.
All right. So, I mean, a lot of new cards entered the format because this is,
It's wildcard season.
yeah, wildcard season.
We've obtained MSEM Cube 2025's new cards, as well as the entire set of Alcaba the Rise of Soli.
Yep. Yeah. Think I was traveling for the first 5 days of the month, so when I got, I literally just spent like a full hour and built like 10 decks.
I am still. I've been traveling since the first day of the month, and I am still traveling.
Yeah.
So
hi there, Styles. Thanks for being in chat right now.
That's why things have been a little bit frantic, right?
Let me open the stream so I can see the chat, but also
make sure you don't accidentally record your desktop audio, I guess.
I'm trying to mute it, but like I guess I'll just have to open it, let it play for a second, and then mute it. So
Oh, we have two people.
By the way,
here.
You should probably post it in media.
Oh yeah, link. Good point. I usually post it once it's like done, but yeah.
Let people hop in chat. Let people hop in chat.
Oh. Okay, there. I've opened it.
Okay.
It has been opened. Actually, I should probably. It's fine.
All right.
I will say, this is if I remember correctly, this is a fairly small month, right? 22, right?
Well, let me check the spreadsheet. Well, who's doing the spreadsheet right now? Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. We have 28 now. So it's an average month.
27.
Oh, 27, right? One of them is a buy. I counted in twos. So we have 27. Average month, I'd say.
Yeah. So I guess with
27 being average. Honestly, 27 being average, like the last HEPs are 30, 22, 20.
Like, yeah. No, 27 is about average, and it had hilariously, I joined the format just before like a huge fucking boom. Like just before like the largest fucking GP ever. Like 4 years ago. And now I think 27 is about our average.
Yeah.
Like 25-ish is about our average at this point.
Engineer, you might want to rejoin because you're cutting out.
Oh.
But anyways, I think that's enough context, so let's actually get onto the decks so that we can finish before like 2 hours in or something.
Yeah, let's all right.
So next.
Do you have your spreadsheet? Excuse me?
Yeah, I linked it. Are you in the spreadsheet right now?
Chat.
Yeah, it's in GP chat. I'll give you a go. So let's actually get on with our first deck. Yeah. So we have Nyx, who we just watched play, right?
Yeah.
And we even commentated that. They're 1-0 so far already.
Yep.
The most winningest deck of the GP.
Well, I didn't see it play, but
well,
it's Villainy.
I think you can probably
balls Villainy.
I think you can probably imagine how it went, right?
I saw the very end of it because I was just checking to see how much time I had. If I should go do something, like one of the things I was thinking of doing before the stream. I think this is a mostly stock mono black Villainy list with a couple really interesting pieces.
In my opinion, 2 interesting things, and those are the new card, Spark Hunter Kajiwara Eye, which is Nyx's card from AQ.
Eye is, I think, a really interesting side grade to Zennigan. And I'm interested in seeing how it pans out. I think it'll pan out pretty well. I think Villainy is always sort of a solid deck, like just because there are always going to be people playing creatures, right? And there are always going to be people who are playing decks that lose to it. So yeah, solid choice. The other big choice here is playing Salome Breaks the Lies. I'm a huge fan of this card. I'm a huge fan of this card.
Salome Breaks the Lies here.
I usually end up playing one or two more Black Legends than we're playing here, but like maybe this is enough. I don't know. But beyond that, yeah, no, this deck seems solid. 22 is really, really terminally low on the link. Like I would probably bump that up by 1 or 2 if it was me, but I'm a big fan of the main deck Waves of Decay. I think Wave of Decay is a fucking absurd, gross removal spell.
Ooh, 4 main deck waves.
Wave of Decay is insane.
Yeah, they're
Wave
really...
of Decay is a crazy card. I've been saying this for fucking ever, right? It's just like there's a reason why if you like look in any of my articles, if there's a deck that's in black, there's like 3 fucking Wave of Decay in the
main deck,
because it's just like so good.
I mean, yeah, if you really want to hedge against aggro, run Wave of Decay. Actually, no, it's not even hedging against aggro. It's just like straight up being aggressive to aggro. If you're running this many Wave of Decays.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that besides the land count and the like fairly low... No. Ball's Descent is legendary, never mind. So it's just the land count. I think the rest of this deck, rock solid. Do we have the spreadsheet?
Yes, we do have the spreadsheet. Did you not get the link?
It's in voice text?
No, it's in GP.
Oh, it's in fucking GP chat. Okay.
What?
Well...
Yeah. Well, Black Villainy.
I just think that this is a solid 7, just every time.
Are we doing spiciness rankings, or are we doing... Actually, you can do the number rankings.
Okay, yeah, sure. The rest of you can do. Because, like, I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a villain list, but I see that they're playing Salome Break the Lies, which I've never seen being played before, but seems definitely super synergistic here.
Really, really strong card.
Salome Breaks the Lies before.
Yeah, I'm a League troller, and I've seen it in League a bunch.
And how good is it? Really good, right?
Very, very, very good.
All right, I'll give it 4 chili peppers for Salome. I want to see how that card pans out, because I haven't seen it in the one game I've seen of the deck so far.
I'll give it 3 chili peppers because Nick's could have been playing Phoenix, and I'm disappointed.
Well,
Fair.
Moving on. We've got Burn, a very specific build of Burn from Marina.
With 1 new card.
Devotee of the Boar, and the idea here, as far as I've been told, and I can tell, is to play all 12 the fact that we have 12 fucking Goblin Guides now. Devotee of the Boar, Bloodvenge Berserker, and Banished Companion are just really powerful Goblin Guides. Devotee of the Boar is sometimes a strictly better Goblin Guide.
And sometimes it's a worse Goblin Guide.
But like, you know, you're playing Burn. You're not going to have a problem triggering.
If you turn on Bloodthirst, it's a Goblin Guide, and then you turn on Bloodthirst easily, so now all your other stuff enters with counters.
Well, no. The thing is, how do you get this thing down as a 2/2 on turn 1 though? Because
you don't. You're playing. That's why you're playing 16 creatures rather than 12. It's like you've got 12 for turn 1, and then Devotee. You
play something turn 1, and you play like Burn Spell or whatever turn 2 into this. This is,
I think, a really solid choice. Some other solid choices I'd like to point out. I asked actually personally about Find Greater Purpose before the GP, and I think that this should just be stock in Burn. Thinking about it more, I think that and I would actually go down to 20 lands and play 4 fucking Find Greater Purpose. I think that thinking about it more, this card is just like, for the way that MSEM Burn gets to play now, since we are just all in on shit that costs 1 mana. The entire deck costs 1 mana, right? Find Greater Purpose is fucking incredible. I would probably be on 20 or 19 lands and 4 Find Greater Purpose. Like, if I was gonna be like very, very honest about it. Well, I think
actually, it's like this build of Burn, right? Because there's also the Neon Claw Knight build of Burn that wants higher land counts or wants lands in play.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Burn, like, I think this should be stock in the non-Neon Claw Knight build of Burn. Sure, I'll make that as an addendum. Actually, no, this is better in Neon Claw Knight Burn because you've got fucking junk permanents.
What? No, but you want mana to make your big plays later on in Neon Claw Knight Burn, right?
Oh, yes,
I think this is really good with Neon Claw Knight. Like,
I think this card is absurd with Neon Claw Knight. This card is absurd with Neon Claw Knight. I'm sorry, Ricky. This is
Ricky.
You've been outvoted.
Like the functions are permanent, Ricky.
Yeah, but like you can't make use of the functions if you're sacking all your lands.
Yes, this is the use of the function.
Land. Sacrifice whatever. You can use reductions to pay for it if you are making those.
What I'm saying is, I consider this an equally valuable use of the functions to reducing something by 1 mana or outputting 2 damage. Like, Ricky, if you're using a function to output 2 damage and you are instead sacrificing it to cast Find Greater Purpose, there's a reasonable chance that will be 3, 5, or 6 damage.
Fair, I guess.
And you have to start thinking, like, if you're playing Building Burn, you kind of have to think about it in this like weird numbers gamey way.
Yeah, but at the same time, like Rogar's Gambit and friends, you want lands around for that, right?
I mean, Rogar's Gambit is here just for density. You're fine. Also, you're fine with having the mana. You're fine with not.
Okay.
But like, I Find Greater Purpose is great. I'm a big fan of it here. I think Burn is just like Villainy insofar as I give it a 7 because it is a classic archetype that has fairly obvious weaknesses and extremely obvious strengths, right?
Yeah.
I think Burn and Villainy...
You mentioned it, but Searing Grace is in this deck.
Yeah.
Searing Grace is fine. Like, it's fine. You're just playing fetch. You fetch, you cast it. It's like, we have had cards like this before. I forgot
that this deck was running fetches. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
I think Searing Grace...
She's playing fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, you have enough fetches.
So
10 fucking fetches, yeah.
So I think like the fetch...
fetches plus erosive path cycles. Also, side note, I feel like the paths should be played in Burn, even if you don't care about the fixing.
Yeah, the cycling is just very good.
So
the cycling is really good, and it's usually untapped.
Actually, let me just... Yeah, so the Searing Grace used to be more relevant back when Cult Axlion was pre-nerfed, because that card also cared a lot about your fetch...
your fetches, yeah. So, like...
for those of you at home, basically this card used to also trigger if you lost exactly 3 life, so you used to be able to trigger turn 1 by just fetching Pain Land.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but now you can't do that. But Searing Grace is something else that still makes use of that sort of thing. Oh, Field to the Fire. That's another new card in the sideboard, right? Field for the Fire. I mean, does that do anything? I guess it's like, it's 5 damage. I don't think that's that common, because it's more than 4 damage, so it already outdamages Obscuriate. So I guess that's something that's worth maybe looking into. But yeah, the mono red, or is it black red or is it mono red?
It's black red. There's
black red. It's like
Bloodvenge Berserker in here.
Yeah, but it's barely black red, right?
Yeah, but there are black cards, and you are fetching for black. It's fine. Like, you're playing a black one.
5 chili peppers.
4 chili peppers
I
because
really like this build of Burn.
Cards. I still prefer Neon Claw Knight Burn.
Find Greater Purpose.
Right.
Requiem on
really like
Dragons. I've been a big fan of this deck. I think fairly vocally.
Ooh, this deck.
I think that.
Yeah, it's good.
This deck has
red mid-range with tribal and a first mate. Like, Prince of Stars is busted.
Prince of Stars is a fucking insane card. This is like the second coming of like 80 card mono red Fireweaver. It's a really, really, really powerful mid-range deck that just gets to also sometimes be the most aggressive guy in the room. Really, 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 really strong stuff.
Yeah. And also is it playing any new cards? It's not, right?
No, I don't believe so.
No, it is not. No.
Yeah, so it's just solid.
It's just a good deck.
Just no new toy. Just
I just want to say how awesome it is that we have dragons as a good deck in this format. Like,
I mean, I mostly want to say how fucking sick it is that we have Kamada Ruby Ascendant in this format.
Yeah.
I love this fucking card. I love this fucking card. I am such a big fan of Red Ramp.
Yeah. Also, responding to Giant Poet in chat, they said that they're on 21 lands because they tested 19. I got too many unplayable hands. Which
makes sense.
Yeah, like if you go down on lands, then you get worse mulligans.
That makes sense, obviously, but like, I get it. Yeah. I am generally more aggressive with land counts in aggro.
No wonder.
If it is 1-drops aggro. I mean, Ricky, you've seen me playing fucking 26 land decks and getting fucked. Like, it is the amount of lands I play. I am just gonna use math to find out, because if I fucking use anecdotal evidence, I'm gonna kill myself.
A really funny story is how I ended up on 15 lands for Phoenix. Is I started at 20, and then I'm like, I'm flooding too much. Let me cut some. Then I went down to 18. Then I thought that was too much, so I went down to 17. Then I'm just like, screw it, went down to 15, and that felt the best. So that's why Phoenix is on 15 lands.
Anyway, I give this a 6.5 or a 7. I think it's a really powerful deck.
Yeah, I'll give it like 4 chili peppers.
I think its biggest issue is sometimes you just run out really fast if you don't have Prince. That's it.
Yeah. Requiem's on Red Dragons, right? So going. Oh, well, yeah, you're next. You're not running back 100 cards?
No, because Legends got a new thing, and it's been like a year since I've played this deck, and it is fairly associated with me. So I wanted to give it another try before I went back to playing whatever I wanted, right? And we got the Lost in Seeking. This card is fucking crazy.
Whenever another legendary creature you control enters plus... wait, it's 1 mana?
This is part of my Bruce article that is coming out eventually.
Yeah, this card, and the flipping it is super fucking reasonable. This card is everything the deck wants. So
wait, it's only -2 to make 3 1/1s? What?
Yeah, excuse me? Fucked. This card's fucked.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good, Ricky. Don't you think?
Look, Ricky, you can see why I wanted to come back to this deck, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, this card's fucked. This card's out of its fucking mind. I'm so happy.
Didn't you also help make it too?
I did. I mean, I did, but it was like the version where Lisa used to be 2 mana, so you could do Lisa Jack stuff.
This deck goes back a very long time for me. I think this is like
no, never mind. Am I thinking about the right thing or the wrong thing? I feel like I'm thinking about the wrong thing.
With Legends, I made it in like 20. I built it in like 2020, 2021, something. First deck I got top cut with, right? I've put a lot of effort into it over time. I just sort of stopped playing it for a while because I have other shit to do. I'm always building shit.
What I was talking about is I remember Zangi talking about how he was talking to you about making.
Oh, he did. We did have a brief conversation about this. The design was exactly the same as it is now when it was shown to me. Just to be fully crystal, I was like, "This is fucking wonderful. This is gorgeous." Thank you. And that was it. That was the conversation. New changes to the deck. We have, obviously, Lost in Seeking has sort of ousted Daisy Saxon and Ragavan and Tegan a little bit. They are at 1 now, which is kind of actually the ideal place for every legendary creature. I would love for us to get 1 more good legendary creature so I can put Lord Rokai to 1. Because the 1-drops are the worst fucking cards in the deck, right? They are just so awful.
Yeah.
So I would love to play, to draw 2 of, specifically. Because, with Legends, you're always mitigating the risk of drawing multiples. And so, ideally, this deck would be the important pieces at 4, and then a bunch of singletons, right? But we're not at that density yet. I'm running back Esmery. I'm not sure on Esmery still. I didn't draw it enough last time I played this deck. Esmery, Henros. Henros and Esmery, I think, are similar, like, quality of card. I've been really huge on Henros, though, and I have not been as huge on Esmery. But
Henros is kind of like the Lost and Seeking, but with some additional stuff, but also probably worse.
Henros is like if the Lost and Seeking was not a card that I came up with while dreaming. I will say, somebody should play this deck and then like try out more Henros, but I'm not going to do it because I keep fucking drawing 2 Henros even though I have 2 Henros in my deck. Anyway, deck is really powerful.
I swear, you somehow have the worst draw luck of like anyone here.
It is truly fucking hilarious.
It's
friends
funny.
of mine do refer to it as the curse. It's because it is,
Yeah.
But also, we're on a 1-1 split of Shuja and Lisa. I might play a third of them. Well, I'm not sure.
Did you not mention Jack at all? Like that's one of the main.
Jack, this is an old ass archetype. I'm imagining our viewers are familiar.
Okay, fair, but just for those of you at home, Jack.
It's also new.
Jack is the reason you play this deck, obviously.
Yeah.
But the other reason you play this deck now, Jack, you play the deck for Jack and Emma. Like those are the cards you play for, because Emma draws you 5 cards.
Well,
Jack.
Emma draws you 5 cards if you're lucky.
Emma draws you 5 cards for if you're playing. So if someone else is playing the deck. Also, I've decided that I could just start playing fucking Scorch in the sideboard. That's the other thing, is I could just play a non-creature spell.
Yeah.
But like, that's it. That's the deck.
Yeah. I'll give this 4 chili peppers because it's a build. Yeah, it's been a while, and Legends is a deck that I've played with.
And like now we have this truly absurd 1-drop.
Yeah.
I am so excited to
give it 5 legend crowns.
I am so
So responding to the guys in chat, the Lost and Seeking is gorgeous. I agree, like that hair is gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
True.
Thank you, Radagon. But
yeah,
we've got Splash Cat on
Ema Ramp. Nice.
Mother of Monsters. It's their card they want to play, I guess. So yeah.
Mother of Monsters, a card I read once and didn't think about a second time.
I don't think that card's actually that good, all things considered.
I don't, but
I think
I don't actually think that this deck is very good either. Looking at these ratios, looking at the plan here,
I feel like Ramp. There are better ways to be playing Ramp than this shell.
I played against it. Like, yeah, I think that this is just less consistent, less powerful than other like.
Why are they running decks? One of Iviana?
It literally won them the game against me when I played against them. So
I am really low on this deck, if I'm going to be honest. I think this is like a 5.
Are you just playing it so that it's to 0 for 2 damage? You don't have any other dragons, right?
No, and like I am very low on this deck. I think
I don't know.
I think the top ends they've made 3 bad top end choices, and then Lyran Elf is great. The ratios are really suspect. The curve looks really suspect.
They're running a split of Nitrous Renewer and Exploring Mirror Worlds, which I feel like is really iffy because you should be on one or the other and not going down the middle.
Not both. Anyway, moving on.
I'll give 5 chili peppers because it's Ramp and it's Team Ramp, which is my pet deck, but it's also like, it's my pet deck even if it's not a great. Or even though it's not the build that I would have preferred. They're running Tensely Grove as their backup RFEs, which, fair, but it's either this or Ornery Bloom, and they both suck. So Tensely Grove, it's probably worth experimenting with.
Yeah.
I suddenly wrote Dravos instead of Splash Cat.
I wonder if Dravos is also on this.
We've got Pitchpire.
Nice.
I'll give it 1.
I think this deck is pretty solid. I think that I'm not sure about Ogura. I think Ogura is great when like no one does anything about it for several turns.
Threat. But the problem is Pitchfire doesn't really have much else, so it's kind of
it's a much kill threat, but besides Lantern Bearer Bell, the other, and like I guess Trepanator, the other cards in this deck fucking, you don't really like, you're not enthused about spending removal on them. We'll see.
Well, I mean,
I think the thing it does when it does it is obviously very powerful. So
if this card sticks, it's absolutely insane. Yeah, we'll see. Like, it's not gonna stick.
Well, the thing with Pitchfire decks is that you need to kill everything that they have, or else, like, because any one random moment triggers all their or enables all their stuff.
You just need to remove the Pitchfire. Is the
yeah, but that's not the easiest thing in the world.
But the thing is, now they have 3 really good 2-drops: Pitchfire, Egg, and Ogura, which might make the deck a bit better, but
no. Ogura, so Pitchfire and Egg are active right away if you drop them after you play a 1-drop.
Yeah, they're active immediately.
But
like
it's still nice.
Yeah.
At least,
I can't imagine Ogura running away with the game, but I'm not sure if that actually makes the deck like win in situations where it wouldn't already.
I think this deck is solid, though. I think it's powerful. It has its good matchups. I think Pitchfire Curse is a card that is always going to be strong as long as they don't change the attack.
Something I find interesting is you're not running Here With You, which I don't know. Do people play that?
It got nerfed. Nobody runs it post nerf.
He was playing it after it got nerfed. It got nerfed in the first month I was here.
Yeah, like I think maybe I would do it over Rogger's Frenzy. Yeah.
Yeah,
but I'm not like
over Rogger's Frenzy.
I still think Rogar's is probably better just because, like, the front side, at least it's a removal spell on the front.
Anyway.
Okay, someone in chat says that
6/5
Here With You sucks in Pitchfire.
Can
Right, because
we get elaboration on this, or just like
the opponent's always going to give you cards.
Yes, and that's great.
I don't think Pitchfire is. Awesome. I don't think Pitchfire is a deck that needs to. I mean, I guess it could go up. It could appreciate extra cards, but it's playing a bunch of stuff that returns from grave, so you have stuff to spend mana on already. So maybe the card draw isn't as important or isn't as good as like other Here With You decks where it could really make use of the extra cards.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, 4 Chili Peppers because I mean it's Pitchfire. I kind of like the deck, but I've seen it before.
We've got Fickle Shaper. This deck, I know my opinions on it already. I think that this archetype is really powerful. I think that this is kind of the sort of perfect form of the sort of coalescing various builds of like, specifically Unbound Expanse combo, which has been like around for a very, very long time. But people have been bouncing between like worse builds, and I think that this build is fucking insane.
Very notable thing is Donna's Rising now gives you a not if it was cast blinkable Thoughtseize.
Yeah.
Yep. That's egregious, obviously.
Yes. Yeah. I think this. Yeah, it's busted.
Fickle Shaper is a deck that was already really powerful. It didn't need this. I hope this card starts saying
Beyond the Veil, please.
No, I don't care about nerfing Beyond the. I just want Denaj Rising to say if it was cast.
Okay, so I ran this deck through a league before, and Denaj Rising didn't actually become that relevant that often, but maybe it's just because of the matchups I was rolling. Because it's
what matchups were you playing?
Yeah,
Phoenix. Okay.
no fucking shit,
we'll
jackass.
Talk about that. My deck is next.
Fucking.
People are asking in chat why it's called.
Okay,
you can go on.
I was playing tennis, but this golf club wasn't very effective. Like, you use a golf club to play golf.
Yeah. So
no, I went to golf clubs to play soccer.
Anyway.
Anyways, so someone in chat is asking why is it called Pickle Shaker? So do you want to go through the history of Pickle Shaper?
Fire Shaper Adept, and Unbound Expanse is infinite ETBs of everything. The deck is an evolution of an old deck that used to be playing Will of the Fickle Lord called Fickle Control that I really loved and that I got from Splashcat, who got it from Pip, I believe. And this is like a very old archetype that evolved and evolved and evolved with the release. And then with the release of Beyond the Black Wall, people stopped playing Will of the Fickle Lord, but started playing this deck way more and more. Because of Chaos Module, started iterating on it.
Fickle in BTB. Since it was TMI that released Soul Reader, right?
No, the version. Wait, was I running Will of Fickle Lord back in?
People started playing.
I remember you
a little bit afterwards.
It had Fickle in it.
But very quickly, people went off that card. They went off 4-drops entirely. They were just on this very efficient, lean Chaos Module value deck that can also just win out of nowhere at random.
This deck has just been getting a lot new tools recently, and I mean it's gotten a new tool every set release since Beyond the Black Wall, which is pretty crazy.
I mean it's not that
it's a very good deck. It won. I don't remember if it was last GP or the G before.
It was a GP before that. Oh yeah, it was a GP that we recorded the finals but haven't posted.
Okay.
Oh.
So how do y'all feel Chili Peppers wise?
I mean I really like this deck, so I'll give it 5 Chili Peppers, even though I'm not really looking forward to it facing it if I have to. Because I was on in that GPU.
So we're gonna have to go with Chili Peppers. I'll give it a 3.
Yeah.
Playing a deck that does not have infinite answers to everything is going to feel weird after this many months of playing Weaver Sack. But beyond that, I think that this is a run.
So
it's my turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
We've got Phoenix.
So this
with
deck
Whisperwood's Phoenix, the card I hate.
The original concept for this, the main innovator of this was Nyx. So thank you for that, Nyx. So it turns out for some reason we were not playing the Whisperwoods in Phoenix, and this card is insane. It turns out. We also got a new toy in the Wicker Screech in Gat Staff, which is also very good. It's pretty easy to turn on turn 3, and you'll almost always have it turned on turn 4.
Yeah.
So pretty good.
I am
and
so
this
low
just
on
comes down for free. Destroys an online permanent and opponent controls is a flyer along with your other bird. So you're full of evasive threats. You've got small luxuries in the Whisperwoods as discard fodder, so you get insane amounts of card advantage. Wade through is just you can easily discard 6, usually around 4 to 5, 4 to 6 off this. It's a crazy ritual that can sometimes draw cards. And then not really draw cards since you're discarding them, but Relive Reality is it's Relive Reality. It's flashback stuff from the graveyard. It discards Unceasing since you cycle through super fast. Phoenix, we went off script since the Against the Waves nerfed. It's just not worth it. I have done a build where I went back on script and Against the Waves and put in unlicensed replication, but that just feels infinitely worse than this deck. And then you run 12 looting effects and 4 Gift of the Phoenix. I meant to change Gift of the Phoenix to Creative Salvage, but I forgot to, so...
Wait, why Creative Salvage?
Here, which is, oops.
I mean, discarding lands could be relevant.
But I still think the deck is good.
I have really extensive experience with Whisperwood's Phoenix, having played Phoenix for a very fucking long, experimented on different Phoenix variants for a very long fucking time. I hate this fucking card. I think that this card is unplayable. I think that this card is fucking atrocious. It is so frequently so dead.
Firebird, but you really need the density, in my opinion.
I would rather play build for any other threat because I think that this card's fucking awful. I think you are putting in so much effort for a fucking 2/2, which this is kind of you are risking bricks for a fucking 2/2. There's a reason why I have been the fucking Foretold Phoenix the 2-1. There's a reason why I've been cutting that from everything too.
What's that called? Oh yeah.
I think that both of those cards are comparable. That card is much lower effort, but I think Miyoga Firebird is like incredible. But I think Whisperwood's Phoenix, even if Miyoga Firebird, like even if we're not comparing it there, right? I think Whisperwood's Phoenix is too much effort, too clunky for a payoff that fucking sucks.
Interesting. Whisperwood's Phoenix has felt amazing to me just because it makes it so much easier to just like high roll your opponent and kill them super quickly, which I think is like Phoenix needs to have explosive draws, and you really can't get that with just 4 birds. Though we definitely saw Pips doing that in when Phoenix was busted, but we had like Flaxy, so many other tools there, so you really didn't need as many Phoenixes. But Whisperwood's Phoenix has felt really good to me, just as a way to make your draws a lot more explosive. Though me forgetting to put Mina in here is really bad.
Wait, did you actually forget Mina?
It makes it a lot harder.
Wait, are you running that in the League deck?
I was, but I was not running the Whisperwoods version, which Nyx built, and I forgot to put in Mina in because Nyx cut Mina. And I do think Mina is good, but
yeah,
I feel like I would give the Phoenix for Mina, maybe wade throughs.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so question about like running 4 copies of Wicker Screech. Are you sure 4 copies is alright? Because I would think you would just run 2 copies of this because it's way too easy to get this stuck in your hand, right?
I mean,
you're playing 100 looters.
Not like
Fair,
you're very consistent.
You're playing 100 billion looters. You can play 4 of them.
It away, and the other half of the time, it's either a removal spell or it legend rule. Like you either play it out, it's a removal spell, or then you play it out, legend rule it, and get to kill 2 things, which is pretty good.
Like, it has a dice trigger. You're playing 100 looters. You can play 4 of a fucking legend.
Yeah, you can. You just discard it if you don't need it, right?
Yeah, like that's fine. I'm giving this deck a 6 because I think that your threat suite is a little suspect, and obviously like there are some clunky choices here, but I think the plan can beat some of the decks that are in here.
I feel like I maybe should have gone. The original deck I was going to play was actually What Remains of Zera, but that deck, that deck has issues to say the least. It's going to need a lot more tuning.
Anyway,
but I think the deck is good in theory. It's just so hard to build it correctly, and hard to pilot it.
Yeah,
we've got fucking fish. We've got Merfolk, although not playing the extremely broken new Merfolk 1-drop. I imagine because this is a list that has not been updated.
What's the new 1-drop?
The new 1-drop is from ROS. Tidebender. Tidebender is such an absurd card.
Just Tidebender, like no titles.
Yeah, Tidebender is so good. I think that this deck really needs to be on Tidebender.
Wait, this is nuts.
This card's fucking crazy. But that aside, I think it's Merfolk. Merfolk is a good deck. I think even after all the nerfs, Merfolk is a good deck.
What nerfs?
Merfolk is good.
The nerfs being Kililia's Scavenger and Olinton Pearl Reader.
Kililia's Scavenger getting nerfed is like a really long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are the only changes that have happened to, the only changes that have happened to Merfolk since those nerfs are the release of Tidebender, which is the best 1-drop in the deck.
Yeah.
But
you could argue that Dancer is better, but you're not playing that in 1, so
you Dancer is functionally not a 1-drop. It is a 1 mana card that you can play.
So yeah, what would you cut for a new card?
I would cut Rushwater Raider and then one of something else. Maybe a land. Maybe a land, maybe a spell, whatever. I don't know. I just think you've got to be on 4 Tidebender, and I think also specifically, I've been loving the feeling of playing 4 Tidebender, 4 Bone Tooth, because you just get to always have this extremely powerful piece of protection for your lords. Anyway, it's good. It's Merfolk.
3 Chili Peppers because they don't have the new tech.
Anyway,
I'll give it same thing, but it's 3 fishes because it's 3 more folk. I don't know.
We've got the Farib's Command Egg of Avarice deck, which I am going to be the sort of hot take haver here and say that I think that this is a little too lost in the sauce, we'll say.
It's running Pidebender.
It is. I think that this deck is a little too lost in the sauce. I think that this is sort of a... Also, it seems like a deck that was built before Farib's Command could no longer tutor Egg of Avarice, and now it can't.
Wait,
but it can't. It tutors creatures now. Farib's Command used to tutor permanents. It does not anymore. Aside, even
I was talking to Truk, and they mentioned putting in a Coralite Paladin, and I said, "Oh, that's a way for Farib's Command to fetch Egg," and they said, "Oh, that's relevant." So I assumed
there is no Coralite Paladin in here.
Yeah, I know, because they didn't. I don't know if they didn't actually end up adding it, and also this is Styles list, so it might have been an earlier version. So
either way,
I don't know.
I think
I tried to
Command is
lead a bit. I do kind of agree that it needs more tuning.
I think this is worse than the black-based. I think this is almost
to do more.
I think it's almost certainly worse than the black-based, like more streamlined, lower color, fucking egg decks. I think that this is almost certainly worse than those. I think
Wretched Sculptor and Marilia are just so good for the deck that
and you don't have to. You don't have to play them in this. Is what I'm saying. I'm not even like I think Wretched Skulker is comparable to Mouso, and I think it compares about even with Mouso.
Can you say that again?
I think Skulker compares about even with Mouso, so I'm not like gonna splash for it. Mausoleum Resident.
Oh, interesting.
Mouso, it's a cat. That's the pun.
I don't think I've heard anyone use that name before.
Hey, it has a warrior cat secret lair. It's good enough for me.
Anyway,
I don't know. I
think that this I'm really low on this deck. I think the Farib's Command is. I think that.
Hello.
Hello.
I think that there's a lot of really suspect choices in here.
What deck are we on?
We are on we're on Styles' deck.
We've already passed your deck.
Anyway.
Oh,
because you were first.
You're first, yeah.
Right. The name's 7X.
Yeah, you have a fucking 7 in it. Anyway, moving on. Let's get the ratings out for this one.
So, 3 chili peppers because I can't really tell what Dex is trying to do.
It's time for
because I played this in League and it felt good and it was and Truk built it and they showed it on Project X. So that's all.
Anyway, time for the Scribble deck. I'm just going to begin this one with a preface by saying that Scribble is a great deck builder who every time I read the deck list, I have to take a second and be like, okay, let me think for a second about how this plays from the sort of brain position of a fucking control player.
So
Planeswalkers.
They're on 4 rot.
12 Planeswalkers, 4 rot.
Not seeing enough play for how good it is.
I'm sad.
I think that Zeroth is the card I am least enjoying here. I think the rest of this seems like kind of whatever. Like you're just playing a control deck with not as much interaction as I would think. Although maybe they're leaning heavy on interaction from the walkers and like from the rots, which is maybe worthwhile. And like their exhaustive harvest is like a way to survive and then get to the rot into the planeswalkers. Actually, sure. I'm not huge on Zeroth here. I think Zeroth is only good if you were like.
I think Zeroth is not very good in control decks, especially from my experience of trying to play in a control deck.
Yeah, and I think the reason why for the longest time people thought Zeroth was like shit was because they were playing it in control decks and they needed to not be doing that. Besides that, this seems solid. Seems like just like an average control deck with a really sick suite of planeswalkers, including Kajiwara Eye, who I have sort of glazed a little bit already, and Earbeck Crocodile Hunter, a card I fucking adore.
Oh yeah, do you want Nick to talk about the new Planeswalker?
Nick, do you have something to say about the new Planeswalker?
Oh, they're pretty good. That's all I got.
I was asking about the design process behind the Planeswalker.
Oh, so Silver actually made another version of Kajiwara, which like I was talking to Silver, it's like, yo, what's the basis behind this Planeswalker? What's their like thing? And Silver's just like, generically good black stuff. So I included as much generically good black stuff as I could, and also included a 2/2 colorless soldier in there because the other Kajiwara also made 2/2 colorless soldiers.
I see.
All right.
I jammed them all together, and yep, there we go.
Yep.
Anyway, it's time for
ratings. Yeah.
Ratings on this one.
3 chili. Actually, no. 2 chili peppers because there's the 4 main deck rots and that makes me sad. I don't want to face against that deck.
I am addicted to playing decks that lose to rot.
Yeah, I know, right?
Addicted to losing the game when rot resolves.
I have played almost every deck I play loses to rot.
I have built decks that don't, but I don't submit them to GP for reasons that are beyond me. Anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I'll give it 3 chili peppers.
Esper Kalen.
Yay!
A deck I'm actually fairly high. I'm probably higher on it than you, Ricky, and you're fucking playing it.
Yeah. So changes from last time. I'm now on 3 Chronicles of the Kitsune. I cut all the Valdezes because I need to find room for these things, and I decided might as well cut the Valdezes because I figured like the discard log plan is a lot less. Oh, there's someone in chat. Toho, yeah. There's also 14% more Toho because I got 2 Toho promos this season.
Ricky's mission has been, for as long as I have been in this server with Ricky, to get as much fucking Toho art in this format as possible. Sort of a raucous applause for Toho in the chat here.
Okay, Ricky, let me explain. You are a believer in this deck.
Yeah.
I think this deck is good, but I don't think people like this deck.
I love this deck. I fucking love this deck. I love Kalen. One of my favorite Azorius cards in either canon or MSEM. I think this shit rules.
Kalen is cool. The rest of the deck, Kalen and Settlesong are cool. The rest of the deck not so much. In my opinion.
What?
Yeah, I'm not on that. I'm not of that belief.
Do you not like getting draw step blocked?
Yeah,
I love draw step blocking people.
And getting all of my cards removed because of one enchantment.
I love draw step blocking people, and I love repeatedly removing shit from people's boards. And I think that like the price you pay for getting to enjoy that is sometimes it gets done to you, and like if you're a pussy about it, you're a pussy about it, right? Like real shit. This is I think the correct opinion on. True. Like, I mean, cards that are like this is like if I
don't like getting draw step blocked.
But if you like draw step blocking people, you gotta be like, this is
also Storm is my favorite archetype, so I can't really sing.
Like, so yeah, what I'm saying is like people are gonna be people. You love playing Storm. People who play against you are sometimes just gonna have like they're gonna take the sort of molding. They're gonna take the sort of Mulder's route and like. Tilt very hard about playing in Storm because they don't Storm the
someone got like
that's card
kept getting super tilted against me, and that partially contributed to them leaving MSEM because I was playing a bunch of like Storm style decks that took a bunch of game actions.
I love game actions.
Amazing.
I'm a Yugist. I fucking love game actions.
Yeah, that's actually why I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm like, oh, I like combo decks. Let's try Yu-Gi-Oh! I was not ready for Yu-Gi-Oh!
Hell yeah.
I've been playing for 6 months, and I only know like 3 decks.
I've been playing for 7 years.
No wonder.
And I'm fucking saluting.
No wonder you play Fire Weaver. 8 sack.
Oh, 8 years. Yeah, no, yeah. Look, my brain is already well fucking made for that shit.
Yeah.
I played Yu-Gi-Oh well before I played Magic.
My favorite deck is Tier Limits. Should tell you enough about me.
Oh, Tier's mine! Holy shit! Tier Limits is, I think, my favorite archetype ever. Not, I think, fucking definitively.
I'm sad that I wasn't here around for Tier 0. I'm sure that was great.
It was so fucking fun. It was so fucking fun. Maybe the best Tier 0 format. No, not maybe. Stop qualifying the shit. It is for sure the best Tier 0 format of all time. We're moving on.
Okay.
This is not a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh stream. But
So the good news for people who don't like getting draw step blocked is that this deck draw step block plan is a lot worse now that Wizards of Vacation got nerfed, and I'm down to 3 copies because it no longer cantrips on ETB.
It sounded like you said "witch on the vacation," but yes.
The positive thing is, if the deck is bad at draw step blocking, that's good because you don't get draw step blocked as much. And if it's good at draw step blocking, it gets nerfed because it does well. So it's all upside if you think about it.
Anyway,
It already ate a nerf. I mean, Wizards of Vacation already ate a nerf, so
True.
yeah. But
anyway,
yeah,
That wasn't really a nerf to the draw step block.
it was.
I declare that I don't like this deck, but I also do like this deck, so I'm gonna give it 5 chili
5
peppers.
chili peppers for me because I'm playing the deck, and also I built the deck, so you know I'm pretty biased against it. So anyways, also like one more change in the deck. I now have Deadly Harpoon in the deck because I was like losing because way too often my opponent drops a 4 mana or greater thing and I literally can't deal with it. So now I have a Deadly Harpoon in there so that I can shoot down expensive stuff.
Now, instead of using 1 permanent to remove all your opponents, you can use 2.
anyway,
Yeah.
moving on. We've got another we've got a new Road to Awe variant, a new Road to Awe list.
Yeah.
I think that this is probably the best this deck has looked yet.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember seeing Fong Fong and I'm like, oh, I kind of want to build this. And then people were like, oh yeah, Percy was doing this for like a year. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a cool deck. And I really didn't see it until now. And yeah, this deck is awesome.
This is one of Hersey's classics, but some new additions are, I believe at least these are new additions. Tomb Steward, Denethra Muck Bruiser, and the new card, Inevitable Future. I think that this deck fucking rules. I think that this is an extremely powerful combo.
Wait, is that a new card? Inevitable Future is a reprint.
It's not new,
is it?
But it's like added.
Look at it literally says Discoveries of Akivia at the bottom there.
Oh, does it? Oh, it does. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've never seen this fucking card in my life.
I thought you meant new, like. I have. We put it in the deck.
I have seen this card before. Whatever. Moving on, we've got a lot of the classic archetype staples here. We've got obviously the fucking combo pieces, and then the Leyline Invokers, the Withering Husk, a card that I think should probably see play in other graveyard decks because it's wow. Like actually wow. One thing I didn't get to do for my Bruise article that I want to do at some point, that is like probably very powerful, is Last Priest of Hadak and
Last Priest of Hadak
with Withering Husk. Last Priest of Hadak and Karatui with fucking Withering Husk is just a really, I think, really powerful package that somebody should try. I'll probably try it.
By the way, I'm surprised you didn't mention No More Wong because, like, I think that's the newest edition, or that's the edition that surprised me the most.
No More Wong is interesting.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like it because of how many disposable creatures you have, with like your Runescribe's Apprentice, that sort of scavenger, that kind of stuff. I really like it.
So the reason you run this is because the God mode actually reanimates, so you can just sink 5 mana into this thing and then reanimate your Clawing Shaman.
Yeah, God mode is also like really good. This card,
and he's also just
Shaman.
like power. He's also just powerful.
Yeah,
fucking powerful. Hersey, by the way,
is awesome.
You're in chat. Why is this called Road to Awe? I forgot.
I'm pretty sure it's a music reference somewhere.
I'm almost certain it is, but I do not remember. Anyway, yeah. That said, 7.5.
I think nothing else needs to be said.
Are generally unprepared for getting turn 3 comboed right now. I think.
Yeah.
This has been my experience. and it's resilient against a lot of the.
So Hardy
The movie The
said,
Fountain with Hugh Jackman has a song from the original soundtrack called "Death Is the Road to Awe," which is also a line said a few times throughout the movie, and it's a really good original soundtrack. Okay. Yeah.
all right.
Thumbs up.
It is on Mono Black.
Cool.
We've already talked about this exact.
No, it's not
Decklist.
exact. They have
It's a
Pithweld.
different
Well, no, I was about to say the difference is.
Lie.
I was about to say the difference is minus Salome plus Thin the Veil,
Plus
which I think
Whisperwoods.
Plus
yeah,
another
Thin the
color.
Veil is
Whisperwoods. It's green.
it is green. Yeah, okay, never mind. I will review this separately, but I will give it the same review, which is I think that this is still ultimately villainy, which is not a downside. Villainy is fucking great, but it's
Villainy.
it's villainy. Like it's villainy. You play.
You become the villain
You
to the
play
aggro
villainy,
decks.
You beat creatures. Sometimes you lose to Ultin Surveyor and then die, but mostly, I think it's just like I think there's a reason why villainy is one of the like iconic archetypes, and it's just because it's consistent, it's good, it's powerful.
Yeah, and this deck's running Thin the Veil to get.
It's very flexible. Thin the Veil gets villainy, gets balls, gets
It's balls.
gets Kajiwara. Yeah, no, I did go for it that way on purpose. But yeah.
All right.
Okay. Next up is Dravos, and I think I've been thoroughly convinced that Teamer Ramp is bad.
They're running this version.
This deck looks
It's
really crusty.
It looks very sketchy to me.
So I mean,
I cannot see a reason to play Xenochlora Expert instead of Jubaje. Just to be upfront with that one.
I think it's because
she seems miles better in my opinion.
The curve here is I think people forget that ramp is like all about the curve, and I think that this is an instance because like the curve is like I guess turn one primal or turn one nothing into Seeker into 3-drop into start playing on turn 4.
You're trying to get like Petal Weaver plus Verdant Sanctuary down early so that you can get infinite land drops. Or, I mean,
it is a Verdant Sanctuary Petal Weaver deck. Okay,
yeah,
I think Verdant Sanctuary Petal Weaver is an insane package. I think people should just keep playing it. I think the fact that Ricky was this deck's representative is why people stopped playing it, because Ricky is like an Italian greyhound. He will step out of the room as soon as any like thing in the air changes. But like it is
fun. Ricky was like I believe the first person to be playing Figgle after Beyond the Black Wall, and then it just wanted GP.
I think you all should still be playing Jubaje, fucking Verdant Sanctuary.
Yeah. So
all of you who like ramp should just try this again.
So
there's no reason to stop.
Kind of an interesting thing is Jubaje was definitely a consideration in Squirrel Calling. It was a card that we talked about when we were building it.
You know what? After I leave this fucking call, I'm going to build a deck with those 12 cards in it.
Anyways, so just to give you some background on this deck. So basically, Dravos wanted to build a ramp deck that could play they're trying to jam Seeker Elizabeth into Teamer Ramp, and
I've seen this as a like recurring like pet card here.
So eventually, I just recommended like maybe a better fit for Seeker Elizabeth would be this sort of ramp show where we have Verdant Sanctuary and friends.
I agree.
So, but then I told them that like this nobody really played this ramp deck after the GSC or the Green Sun Zenith got nerfed because the deck was really relying on running the Green Sun Zenith to pull out their threats.
It's interesting that like. I think the best Green Sun Zenith after all the nerfs, because Tower Over the Sky was like
Tower Over the Sky is a crazy
card. Tower Over the Sky was X green, so I believe people weren't playing it before, but now it's just like you can't argue it's not the best. Like,
well, yeah, and that's good. It's great. It's a crazy card. Anyway,
yeah, but like I just linked them the old deck, and then I guess they just did stuff with it. Did stuff with the old list that had the Green Sun Zenith, and that's how it looked.
I'm not a fan of the way this list is set up, but I think it does it can do the powerful thing. It's just not doing the powerful thing as consistently or as powerfully as
I agree.
Why are you running 2 of the same Wayfarer shrines than 1 of the other 2?
That's
what was the goal here?
That's just
so
a tilt.
you would say that. So you would get mad and say this on stream. That's why this was done.
All right.
It is working.
5 chili peppers. Team ramp.
I do have to give it a rating. I also didn't give a rating to Vilni, but I'll just give it a 3.
Just copy pasted from before.
Ramp, I'll give it a 5 because it's spicy. I doubt it's very good, but it's definitely interesting.
We've got the Megalo Kraken deck from last GP.
Yay! Ooh, deep wet consultation.
The deck that I do hope I will see again in finals, so we can have an actual finals game. But
yeah, so they got.
Besides that, I think the deck is really cool.
They got 1 new card. Deep wet
Megalo Kraken is a card I think is fucking crazy.
Megalo Kraken is great.
I think Megalo Kraken for Planeswalkers is absurd, and we just get to do that here. I think Root Corruption is a really powerful enabler for Megalo Kraken. I think that Deep Web Consultation is a great card.
It's very interesting as kind of a side grade to Prying Inquiry.
Interaction Suite is really great because we've got a bunch of modal cards that like work well that like let you play under Megalo Kraken's like deck building restriction. NCK is like really good with Megalo Kraken, really good in the same deck as Megalo Kraken, really good with the same spells as Megalo Kraken. This deck won last GP, and I think like with like the exception of one extremely rough finals, I think this deck showed very fucking clearly why it won, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think that you probably went over it at quite a lot of length at that time. So,
yeah.
You know.
All right, so 4 chili peppers because it's the same deck and I'm not super interested in it or super invested in it.
I'll give it. I love Megalo Kraken as a card. I need to build a deck with it. It's 5 chili peppers.
Anyway,
all right.
Moving down,
Lai is on Reshaper combo, which we also commentated.
You commentated this today, so I'm not going to go over what the deck does, and I don't think you all should either. I think Ubitsa Forge and
it's Reshaper.
I think it got the 2 best spirited cards ever fucking printed.
Yeah, I know, right?
In Ubitsa Forge and Android
How does this deck just get 3 of the perfect tools just in 1 set drop, and they're all from the community drop? None are even from Alkabot.
And, so they're not from the same designer either. It's awesome.
What?
Anyway,
no, it's unfair. How come Kalen didn't get anything?
It's Matt.
Anyway,
yeah.
You will be seeing the upgrades deck with fucking Ubitsa Forge at some point. Just so you know. Anyway, this deck is great.
Yeah.
This is a really powerful archetype. I'm really high on it. I'm really double high on it with fucking Ubitsa Forge. Makes its fair play and way better.
Was the deck. Actually, it was definitely probably the best deck that I was considering playing. It was pretty much either Reshaper, What Remains of Zera, Egg, or Phoenix, which I settled on.
Anyway, I think Reshaper is great.
So moving on, Crush is on Foxes. Can we just like give them 5 and move on?
I actually will talk seriously about Foxes because I refuse to get swept up in memes. I don't like memes.
I saw this archetype on Dreadrise, and I want to know what's going on.
I'm going to approach this deck 1000% honestly, because like with 1000% sincerity, because again, I don't like memes. So I'm going to say, as a typal deck, I think that it does actually have some genuinely really powerful, unique tools that no other typal deck has. I think Pup of a Marigold Barrow is really strong. I think that its lords are generally on the weaker end, but Pup is a really great card, and like they have lord density, I think getting to have Chronicles of the Kitsune as an on type fucking one drop is great, but I think that compared to other typal decks, besides the draws where you draw Pup, this deck is not very good. And I also think Family Tree is a fucking awful card.
Yeah, I was about to ask you.
I think Family Tree.
I think Family Tree is in here because this is a deck that's here to do a little bit of comedy, I imagine, and I think that Family Tree is a fucking atrocious. Actually, I'm gonna dip below 5. I'm gonna dip below 5 here. I think that this is. I have a tendency to like not do this very often because it makes people very sad. But I imagine that this is not a controversial take here, right?
Yeah.
To say that this deck is not very good.
Out of 5.
I'm giving this 4 foxes out of 10.
Also, it's playing Baldwin Bluffs in the part of the land base just because of the name, I think.
Because it's okay. For that, I'm removing up. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Although this card is fucking atrocious in this deck, also. Like,
yeah.
It's running. If you think about it, never mind. I'm not going to try to do that math in my head.
Sure. All right. So moving on, we have same deck, Mono Red Dragons.
Again.
Copy paste and move on because we do need to get through this. Okay, what the heck is this? Softwood. Who's Softwood 1?
That's Asti.
Oh, that's what they're called now.
You didn't know that?
No, why would I? I don't keep up with people's username changes.
His username didn't change though. Softwood is like his whatever it is. You know how they have the second username because Discord is like that?
Ah, I never paid attention.
Softwood.
Anyway, so what are they running?
That's what the Lackey bot uses because I don't know, it can't fetch people's nicknames, I don't think. It's Sultai Control?
Sultai Cane Dancer Control or Sultai Flash Control? Why are they running Veilborn Meddler and...
It says S answer, can you find the word? I'm just gonna assume that's Sultai.
Why are they running Veilborn Meddler and Spark Hunter in the same deck?
That I experienced a brief power surge.
Okay.
Anyway, this deck is a 4 for now. I will rate it lower if I think about it again later and I like it less.
Are you still talking about boxes?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
So yeah.
Dragons is we've talked about this already.
Yeah. So Asti is playing Veilborn.
Almost the same list, but there's notably one more Kamada. That's it.
Yeah. So Asti is playing Veilborn Meddler and Spark Hunter Eye in the same deck. What do you think about that?
Sure.
Really?
I think like they're both powerful cards.
Yeah, but like I don't think they fit in the same deck.
You don't actually have to be all in on the I don't think you have to actually be all in on the flash hit for Veilborn. Like 18 cents is reasonable density.
I guess.
And I think like it's fine to play a Veilborn deck with the top end. Oh no! Don't get me wrong. I'm not huge on this deck, but I do like I do like in theory the way Root Corruption bridges the gap here. I think Deduce is a shit card.
Yeah. It's is it just worth and ready for anything?
Yes.
Or is it even post nerf? Right.
No, it is worse than post nerf. No, it's not ready for anything. It says if you control something, right?
Yeah.
Like it has a legendary permanent. Never mind. But still, this card's not very good. Like I think that this card is very bad. We have far better 2-mana like pseudo draw.
Like Planet, right?
Yeah.
Like Planet, like a lot of stuff.
Planet would be good. Glimmer is kind of actually no. You aren't running enough creatures for that.
I think that this deck is clunky. Curve is too high. It is a perfect 5 based on the description here. It is a collection of good cards that are good on their own. They don't work great together.
Yeah.
I'll give it 2 chili peppers because I can't tell what's going on.
3 chili peppers, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, next up
is
Zangi.
Okay, yeah.
Is Mardu Satrapies?
Oh, nice.
I think that
5 chili peppers.
I don't see the hype around Jubin. I've been hearing quite a lot of like buzz about Jubin in the deck building channel and in wherever. I am not sold on Jubin. I am giving this. I am just going to be straight up and say, I am also giving this one a 5. It feels like a similar quality of like we are just playing cards, right? That are powerful.
Mm.
Like Fulfill the Contract is a great card. Fulfill the Contract is great. It's really good that you get to play it. Back Alley Connections is. It is. You can pay 3. It lets you pay 3 mana to draw a card. A lot, which I think is probably just worse than other draw engines that we have. Yeah, people were talking about Jubin a lot, but I am not high on this deck. I think that this deck looks extremely suspect, extremely clunky, extremely disjointed, and like has a lot of problems with with picking a lane.
Yeah.
I feel kind of it's sketchy, but I kind of want to see what the deck does before, because I think I'm really not sure.
I think that you might be holding out for nothing, if I'm honest.
The deck play a game, and kind of.
I have a feeling you're probably.
Why is it running the Notch Rising over like Prying Inquiry or whatever? Can this thing actually? Is there any point in
Prying Inquiry should probably be in this deck more, because I think a clue is better than an army.
Yes, I agree.
Anyways, yeah. Let's.
I don't think that this deck is.
Let's move on.
I feel like every time I'm on a Decklist stream, I get on here and be a cunt, but like
I like that because
that's why I'm here.
You're the sensible voice in the room.
Yeah, like
it is black. I guess fair.
Anyway, Toka. I fucking adore this deck. I think this deck is great. I think more people should hop on this deck.
I'll give 5 chili peppers because it's a Toka deck.
I like Toka. It seems like a good deck.
I'm giving it a fairly high rating because I think it is like
5 chili peppers from me as well.
To be clear, I'm using Ricky's scale, and based on Ricky's scale, Ricky does not give very many things 9s, right?
Actually, no. I'm pretty sure I inherited the scale from Purple.
Oh, well then I'm using Purple scale. Either way, doesn't matter. It doesn't give very many things 9s. Doesn't give very many things 8s.
9 is like a deck that's insanely good.
9 is like Phoenix pre-nerf.
What I'm saying is
9 is
7.5. 7.5 and 8 are extremely solid ratings here, and this is like a great 7.5 combo deck with a resilient fair plan, with a resilient combo plan. Both layer really well on top of each other. It plays really well into interactive matchups by being able to repeatedly attempt, and by being able to use basic, like every card in here that you are playing for the combo, you can also just use to fuel a powerful fair plan where you just like Channeler of the Veiled Twilight Blade your opponent until they die.
It's good. This deck is extremely good.
Anyway,
I really like this deck. I feel like you might want to be running Beneath the Zedinas in your sideboards, but
yeah, I maybe the card I actually think is missing is Ghoulish Unearthing. I think Ghoulish Unearthing in Toka is fucking absurd. Because I am a huge believer in that you have to incorporate Toka into your fair plan when you are playing the fair plan, and Ghoulish Unearthing Toka in the fair plan is fucking broken out the ass.
I mean, you do have normal Unearth and Stir the Pot.
Well, yes, I'm saying Ghoulish gives it haste is the big thing.
Yeah,
and Toka is an enters or attacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway,
moving on.
Great deck.
Yeah.
Good luck to whoever's playing it. Whatever.
They're playing Fire Shaper or Fire Weave or something.
We are playing We are playing fair Blink Fireweaver.
Yeah.
I am going to be the one to say it here. I think this deck is probably better than you all are thinking.
Oh, you're not actually
I think
negative.
this deck is good.
I think this deck is probably better than you all are thinking. I think, from experience playing a lot of Fireweaver, I think Fireweaver is a card that is really good at shoring up matchups you are weak to, and this deck has really heavy matchups you are weak to. Right?
Yeah.
You are weak to decks that get really aggressive, and I think that what I'm saying is, I think personally, this is more likely to work out than you would think. I think that there's still some clunky cards in here. I am really not sure about Makodonis and Etheria. I think Etheria is great. I think Etheria is better than Makodonis in most instances. Although I think that Makodonis' -2 is like, I just think that you're already playing such a high curve. I don't love playing both. I am not sure that this is a Lost Through Dreams deck. But I think the general, I have actually explored some amount of Fair Fireweaver. Maybe I'll debut that in League later this month.
I played Mono Red Fair Fireweaver. I really like this deck because, blinking Fireweaver is really good. Fireweaver also gets blink spells to blink your other stuff. So Fireweaver blink just feels kind of like a natural thing for the deck to do.
I have a Fireweaver list with blink spells, but it is not this deck. It is not in blue. It is strictly straight up red-white, and it's on some other shit. I haven't checked on it in a while, but I think that this is a powerful concept. I think that I would like to see it tuned further from here, and that's it. I'm giving it a 6.5 or a 7.
I do like Master Sue maybe a bit more than Rixia, but Rixia does give something unblockable, which is nice.
For some reason Rixia is not showing, but whatever. Rixia is a card I have read, and I do agree that Master Zoo is better. I think that Rixia is a PP card a little bit, but I think that I should say we have better cards than this. I think both of the zoos, we have 2 zoos. I think that I would rather play both of those. That aside, that's why I said that I would like this to get more tuning, which is why I'm leaving it at a 6.5 instead of a 7 now. But I think this could be a very solid 7 going forward.
I also like...
5 fires. I like Fireweaver.
I like how they're playing. I like how they're playing the Unbound Expanse Commanding Princess loop. That's something I wanted to explore, and I'm glad that they're doing it here, especially in a deck that has a lot more.
That is a loop now.
Yeah.
Or did Commanding Princess? Commanding Princess didn't return for non-creatures before, right?
It was.
No, it did not, which is actually what prompted me to build Fireweaver Commanding Princess was Unbound Expanse Commanding Princess Fireweaver. We didn't have the evokers when I built this, so I should probably go back and redo it to be about those a little bit.
I do kind of want to build this deck.
Anyways, good shit. Thumbs up.
Yeah, moving on.
We've also got exactly the same legend list.
Cool. Copy paste and move on. Did they approach you about
this? Shout out to my rival.
Oops! I copied the wrong spot.
See you in finals, Cat.
Sure.
But fucking, we've got.
Who's Band Crabs?
This is a new player. I was about to say, I'm trying to recall the mind what the fuck this is.
It's not a new player.
What?
Who the fuck is Band Crabs?
It's not?
One day. I don't know how to pronounce their name.
Oh, that guy.
Who?
Yeah. Their name is Band Crabs.
Wednesday, I think. Or W-E...
It's in their profile picture.
She's relatively new. Sure, okay, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
it's Hot Ing. I love Hot Ing. I think this card is absolutely nuts. And yeah, it's very cool that it also triggers off your cards that you take from them if you sacrifice them.
Huh.
I am not
sacrificing.
I am not sure about this. This seems like a slower and worse version of archetypes that already exists. The synergies seem weak. I think Ha-Eng is bad.
I like Ha-Eng. I'm not so sure about the rest of the deck.
I mean, so it is. I mean, it is the sketches deck, I guess.
Well, yeah, but it's the sketches deck if it was on a very strange suite of dorks and a really weird set of tutor targets and a kind of suspect curve.
So like
we were going out of our way really hard to enable Ha-Eng, and we were playing 3 sketches.
So I actually think Nitrous Renewer into Wormwood or Normal 1 is actually a really powerful thing to be doing.
We're playing 6.
Yeah. Like if a deck, because it was like something it was something I was thinking about building around, but I just never got around to it. But like I feel like if someone could just try to take that idea of Nitrous Renewer
with Black Green Splinter, right?
Yeah, but
I think Nitrous Renewer into Numa Wong or Miss Letitia Wormwood is a great idea. I think that's not what this deck is.
Hey, but maybe it's a start.
I am working on that deck. It is coming.
I think that's not what this deck is.
Also, it's only on 24 lands for Nitrous Renewer, which I don't think is enough, right? You need around 25 to 26 lands for Nitrous.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm giving this a 5 and moving.
I'll give it like fortunately purpose just because they're trying to make that deck idea work, even if they failed horribly at it.
Give it 3 chili peppers. Actually, I give this 5, but only because of Ha-Eng. If it didn't have Ha-Eng, this would get a 1 or 2.
We've talked at length about this Farib's command 4-color fucking egg deck. So this is a slightly different version that is actually playing Correlate Paladin.
Yes,
but
yeah.
Beyond that, my thoughts do not differ very much. I think that this deck is not very good. Or rather, I think that this deck is fine, but I think it's worse than the other options that are around.
I'm sorry, Styles, but I'm not super high on Potato Chip Swan. I like it. It's kind of nice as a way to easily Deception in Marilia, but I feel like there are just better things.
Like, I put out a Bruise article, just for everyone who fucking read the Bruise article, I talk up Potato Chip Swan. 2 things. 1, I misread the card, and 2, I played some games with the card after like not misreading it. And I think I was just wrong.
Oh. What did you misread it as?
I misread crumble as unless rather than if.
Ah, yeah, that's a pretty big change.
Yes, but that said, even with that, I was like, this card still has some potential as like a 1-drop flyer that you can ninjutsu and then like play for 3 mana as like a real card. But I actually just think that this sucks.
That's unfortunate, but understandable.
I was like, this is like, I actually just think that in the decks that you want to play this in, like the ninjutsu decks, have better ways to spend. Although, actually, I think the ninjutsu decks, I will say, they are sometimes hurting for 3 drops. So I've considered Potato Chip Swan. Maybe I'll go back to it. Just because I like sometimes you do just have nothing to do on turn 3, right?
Yeah.
Because your big turns are turns 2 and 4, where you're like, because on turn 4 you get to like ninjutsu for ninjutsu, you get to like loop 2 ninjas, right? But beyond that, I think Potato Chip Swan is like, it's a fine card. I think it's worse than Chattering Parrot is my big thing. I think it is universally worse than Chattering Parrot. So if you are playing Potato Chip Swan, you should already be playing Chattering Parrot. And if you're not playing Chattering Parrot, I think you should. Like that's my ruling on it. Is I think this card is worse than Chattering Parrot. I think it's the second card you play after Chattering Parrot, though, if you're looking for flying 1-drops. So,
yeah, I think I trust you on that. You seem to be a pretty big fan of Chattering Parrot.
I think
I'm a big fan of Chattering Parrot. I think this card's fucking egregious.
Yeah. So Ange, what was that?
I was just saying, that makes sense.
So,
I agree with it.
So
okay.
let's move on to
Clerics.
last deck, Clerics.
Clerics is so good. Clerics is
I
so
love this
good.
deck.
Holy
It is literally the first deck I tried to build in MSEM. It is one of my favorite archetypes in the game of Magic the Gathering. I love this deck. It's very good, and I matched up against it in round 1, and I am probably going to lose.
This deck is very powerful. We have spilled quite a lot of ink over the years about it. There's nothing new in here either, as far as I can tell. It's just the good deck. You play the good deck. This deck draws 1 million cards. You burn for 1 million every turn. You beat creature decks really hard into the ground.
I think you actually beat Burn pretty nicely too. Now that Fork Pillar got nerfed.
Oh, yeah, you beat Burn. You beat creature decks. Like you just like.
You beat aggro decks because you gain a bunch of life. You beat control decks because you have a good combo.
I think you actually
you beat control. You also beat control decks because you draw 10 million cards.
You also beat Ramp because Ramp tries to win through Layer N alphas, and Layer N alpha does not win against this board state.
Yeah, you beat like the only way to stop you
have
is
combos. You have life gain. Like, what more are you asking for?
The only thing you need to do, like the only thing you can do here is you just like have to repeatedly be able to remove the Soul Wardens, and if you're not, you lose.
If you do, you have a pretty good shot of winning. Like the deck does sometimes just run out of stuff if the pieces get killed.
Yeah, they run out of specifically Soul Wardens, and you have to remove the Soul Wardens without drawing them 1 billion cards. Also,
I mean, you can just remove the. You can also just remove the trigger guys though too.
Well, no, you never do that because they have more of those than they have of Soul Wardens.
Wait, removing the what?
The things that trigger off life gain.
They have more things that trigger off life gain than things that gain life. So
yes, this is my take. Is like you should remove the Soul Sisters.
Actually,
you should cast Sweepers because I feel like a well-placed Pyroclasm can destroy this deck.
Are they not running Reflected? Are they not running Paris Paragon anymore?
No.
Oh.
Wait, what card is that?
Paris Paragon.
That card's the card that eats Pyroclasms for them. I imagine because they hadn't played against very many Pyroclasms recently.
Well, time to show them why they run Paris Paragons.
I should have brought the Pyroclasm for Phoenix. I was going to do that, and then I decided against it because Careless Violence Exiles, and I couldn't think of another one easily, so I just didn't.
Did we? Oh, we didn't do that. Okay, so did we not fill out one of the lists? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've gone through all the decks, and there's only 4 rots in the GP, which is good news for me and probably a lot of other people.
Yeah, I was about to say good news for all the people who play low curve shit,
which is most people, honestly.
Which is, I think, more people than isn't, or about as many people as isn't, because like
who am I facing?
They have to be low curve. They have to be low curve permanent decks.
I'm against Scribble on round 1.
My condolences. I am against time, so we're gonna have a fucking typo battle. My type is better. I'm not even. That's probably our types are probably about the same power level.
Wins. Think about it that way.
Super.
Fucking power scaling. Super type is more powerful than type by a modifier of 1000. Toriyama said so. Thank you all for coming.
Yeah.
Fucking see ya.
Anyways, yeah, so that's all the decks. I think we don't really have much more to say right now. It's already been a pretty long time, so
yeah.
Do you guys just want to end the stream now? I guess the answer is yes, because no one's saying anything, so...
They're probably all left.
Oh, the gallery leave voice chat? Okay, cool.
Yeah, all left.
So anyways, thanks for coming, guys, and hopefully we'll see you in the GP, or failing that, watching our GP videos, or failing that, like, next month.
Okay, yeah, bye everyone.
Bye.